Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cooking from a Can. Today we're going to be making some homemade naan bread. Naan bread is a flatbread that is used throughout Asia and Caribbean. It was actually first made, I guess, in Persia, so Iran, or Persia back then. So yeah, we're going to get started making that. First we're going to get our yeast going. So you're going to get 4 teaspoons of the dry active yeast, and then 2 teaspoons of white sugar, and then 1 cup of lukewarm water. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a whisk. Kind of get all the yeast covered in the water. So we're going to let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes to let the yeast grow. Right, so now that the yeast has started eating the sugar and farting out bubbles and rising, that's what it actually does, we're going to add the other liquids to this part. So we're going to do half a cup of yogurt, half a cup of oil, and this recipe will make about 24 pieces of flatbread. So the nice thing with this is you can freeze it and it lasts for quite a few months in the freezer, and it's good to use for other dips other than Indian food. And we're going to add 2 eggs. And then give that a whisk. So now we're going to do 5 cups of flour. Salt. Stir, just get that salt in there. And now you want to pour your liquid into the flour after making a bit of a well. And then we're going to give that a mix. Once it gets too sticky, then just mix it with your hands. Just so you can get all the flour mixed in easier. It really is just a basic bread recipe, but it's how you cook it that's gonna make it a little bit different. Once you got it well mixed, throw a little bit of oil in the bottom of your bowl. Just so when it's sitting it doesn't stick to the bowl. Set it in there, and then we're going to cover it with a wet towel. So you just want it like slightly damp. Just cover it, and then we're going to set it aside and let it rise for an hour. Alright, so it's been about an hour now, so we're going to pull the dough out and see if it's risen. It should have, and then we're going to start rolling this out and cooking it. So as you can see, it has risen. So we're just going to punch it down, and then we're going to fold it over, and then we're going to start tearing off little balls. A little bit from the oil underneath, but that's okay. All right. So we bought a large cutting board specifically just for rolling out dough, like the naan bread, or when we do spring roll wrappers. And if you don't have one, you can just do it on the counter. Obviously, just make sure it's really clean. So yeah, you want to use flour so that the dough doesn't stick to the surface that you're rolling it out on. So we're going to get going on that. So just take like a little piece like that. And then we're just going to roll that grab some flour here. Spread that out. Get your rolling pin. Just flatten it out, flip it over, flatten it out, roll it, turn it, flip it. It's like that old bop it game, remember that?
Hey, bop it, twist it, tap it. If you can't keep up.
So again, just keep rolling it out. It doesn't have to be super flat. Just kind of like that. It's maybe like 5 inches diameter. You can see. So we're just going to roll a few of those out, and then we're going to start frying them up. And I'm going to show you how I do it here. Alright, so since we don't have a tandoor, and I don't think there'd be one available in Costa Rica, I don't know who could build one either, we actually have a cast iron plate that goes on our gas stove. So we're going to do it on that. If you don't have a gas stove and one of these plates, then you can just use a cast iron pan. Alright, so we're going to preheat the cast iron plate now, and then once it's nice and hot, we're going to put a little bit of olive oil on there, and then we're going to put the naan bread on there, and it's going to cook. It's actually going to bubble up a bit. There'll be some air in there. So while I'm rolling these out, I'm just going to let you know this naan bread's good for saucy Indian recipes like butter chicken and tikka masala. I do have a tikka masala video. I'm going to put the link up here so you can go to that after you've made this and make the tikka masala recipe. And yeah, it's just really good for eating with all the sauce and soaking all that up. And yeah, you find that you won't use much rice because you're going to be using more bread than anything. But yeah, it's really good for that. Yeah, I'm going to keep rolling these out. So now that your skillet or your cast iron plate is heated up, we're going to put the olive oil on, and then we're going to put a couple of the pieces of naan bread, or just one if you're using a smaller cast iron skillet. We're going to put that on, and we're going to let it cook, or it's not really baking, but fry, I guess, and then we'll flip it over and let it fry on the other side. We're going to let that oil heat up. One thing too, when you're doing this inside, it's going to get really smoky with the flour in the oil. It's going to be burning off, as well as a little bit of the bread, because it does get a little bit crispy on the bottom when it's cooking. So yeah, open up windows, turn your fan on if you have one. We don't have one yet. We're going to put one in, so for now we just open the windows and let all the smoke out that way. So you can see how it's bubbling up just from the heat cooking underneath. It's causing like a pillowy effect on the bread, and then when we flip it over, you're going to see the other side. And as you go through cooking more and more pieces of bread, you're going to notice that the plate gets hotter, or your pan gets hotter. You're going to start having to flip it over a lot sooner, otherwise it's going to burn. Oh, and you don't have to put olive oil each time that you put the bread on, maybe every second or third time. If you put too much, then this is going to be oily and a lot more smoky. So just, yeah, every second or third pieces of bread, throw a little bit more oil on there. All right, so I'm just going to continue doing this process till all the dough is gone. Alright, so that's it. Now that you've fried all of your bread up, you're ready to eat it. This made 25 pieces, so that's our favorite type of baker's dozen, and we can try a couple, and we got lots left. So again, you can freeze it, It can stay up in the freezer for a couple months, and you have it ready for next time you make tikka masala or butter chicken, or what else? Hummus?
I like it with hummus.
Yeah, Shayna's gonna make some hummus tomorrow, so we can have that.
Homemade hummus.
Have the naan with the hummus is really good. Any flatbread's good with that. Now that you've mastered the regular naan recipe, you can add like garlic into it, different herbs, coconut, spices, whatever you can think of. Just throw it in the batter, and then you'll have that flavoring in the naan. So you can make half of it regular and half of it with whatever flavoring you want. Yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you had never made naan bread before, I hope this helps in showing you how easy it is to make. It does make the house smoky, as you can kind of see. And yeah, we're gonna finish off making some tikka masala, and again, the video will be above. It's gonna be at the end of the video, so you can click on that and make that recipe as well. If you do want to try cooking in a can yourself, we do have a rentals. Just go to casasamara.com. They do have a kitchen in them, as well as a barbecue, so you can buy all your groceries in Samara and make your dinners, breakfast, and lunch right on the property here. And yeah, we will see you in the next video. Ciao.